Tesla making money. We'll have more on that later with our Fox News car guy, Gary Gastilow, but I'll tell you right now, it's opened 10% up. That's $31. Solid, huh? Yeah.
Very, yes.
Joining us, Scott Martin, Brian Brenberg, Ashley Webster. Scott, to you. This isn't much of a comeback after a 600-point loss. Are the glory days over?
Gosh, not much of a comeback yet, Stuart, but it is early, and it's good to see some green on the screen after yesterday. I mean, I'll tell you that much. I'll take anything. Just give the market some time. As we've seen, Stuart, you know, in markets like these where they do overshoot on the upside, they tend to overshoot on the downside, too. So while we may not get everything back from yesterday and say just the morning today, give the market a couple days, and I think we'll see some good retracement here.
Okay, I want to put on the screen the big tech names because they have clearly been hammered lately. I want you to look at the screen, Scott. Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft. Tell me, is there any one stock there you think's on sale and that you would buy now?
Yeah, it's absolutely Amazon. I mean, Amazon earnings are out very shortly here, and we're going to watch those very closely. But, I mean, if you just look at Amazon's business model, you know, it's not just retail, it's cloud, it's online advertising. Amazon Prime is the gateway drug to massive internet spending. It's one of the best deals on the planet. So, to me, Amazon's the one. If I was to go out and say there's one on this shopping list that you absolutely have to have, that's the one, AMZN.
All right. Brian Brenberg, as a business professor, is with us. What about the business performance of Amazon?
I love Amazon. I love Alphabet here because they've got the web services. They've got the cloud computing. That is the quiet, massive, high-margin driver here. I think you're going to see very good results from Amazon after the bell on web services, and that's going to drive the stock.
Big picture for a second.
Yeah.
Ash,
yeah.
You were talking about the overall mood of the market.
It's the psyche. You know, it's like selling leads to selling. I don't think it's a capitulation. There's the overriding concern here is growth of this economy. Is it slowing down? And growth abroad in the global economy. And, of course, China. China's economy, China tariff trades, those three things are causing this concern. But it's not, we haven't seen those buying on the dips that we've seen so often leading up to this.
That's
this is
true.
more of a bigger sell-off. But should we all panic and run for the exits? Absolutely not.
October was the month of the big dip.
Right.
And so far, that dip has not been bought.
But at what point are we getting back to fair value on these stocks? I mean, it's going to start looking attractive.
Well, look at Facebook
or undervalued.
for a start.
Or undervalued, exactly.
Well, okay, undervalued. Look at Facebook. It's still below $150 a share, $148 to be precise. They're in a hole, Scott. Can they dig out?
Yeah, they can. And Stuart, you know, Ash is right. I mean, this is what makes markets fun and hard, is that they overshoot on the upside and they overshoot on the downside. I mean, we had an event last night. I'm in South Carolina right now. We had an event for an advisor of ours, Todd Kenferrata, at the Dewberry Hotel, talking about with investors about how the psyche, exactly what Ashley said, is really tough to deal with in times like this when the market has been so quiet for the last couple of years. I mean, in 2017, guys, we barely had nary a drawdown. I mean, the biggest drawdown in the S&P was about 4%, peak to trough. So this year, yeah, we're getting those peak-to-trough drawdowns of, you know, 10, 11, 12. So the market's getting back what it probably should have done in the last couple of years. This is all normal behavior and things that, as an individual investor, you've got to stay the course on.
Scott is in a hand-holding operation here, soothing the anxiety of our
That's my
business. Maybe so. The big board shows now a gain of 100 points for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Quickly, some individual stocks. Altria, they make cigarettes, Marlboro cigarettes, for example. Big sales, but the stock is down 2%. American Airlines, their profit cut in half because of higher fuel costs. So what? The stock is up 3.5%.
They're still piling the passengers in.
Hard to, yeah, exactly.
That's the bottom line.
Better sales, better profit at Comcast. They attracted a lot of customers to the high-speed internet connections that they have. Look at Comcast. Big stock, up 5%. Hershey plans to start charging more for chocolate.
What?
Lower prices and higher costs chipped away at the bottom line there, and that stock is down 6.5%. Yeah, chipped away.
Chipped away, that's funny.
The pun was not intended, believe me. Good news for a change from Tesla. It reported a profit and what's called positive cash flow. Time to bring in Gary Gastilow, FoxNews.com automotive editor. All right. Can they keep up the production of the Model 3, and can they keep up the profitability?
Production, definitely, because keep in mind, they sold 56,000 cars, delivered 56,000 cars last quarter, but that was at half the production rate that they're hoping to eventually get to, even less than half. So if they're doing that now and they're doing it profitably, that's incredible news for the company moving forward.
So it's a very positive report.
Yeah, but look,
they're back in business. They're selling this thing. They got it on the market. This is all good, right?
And they haven't even gone to Europe and Asia with it yet. Now, look, they really micromanage production and sales, targeting the most profitable models. They move the models around. They change prices left and right over the past quarter. That really maximized the profits. Now, don't know if you can keep that up in the U.S. for another year, but when you've got Europe, you've got Asia just waiting for this car, there's plenty of growth to be had.
You're our car guy, so I'm going to ask you about Ford Motor Company. That stock has really been struggling recently. It's down to like $8 a share. What happened to them?
Look, what was the good news yesterday? That the trucks that they're going to shift to are making money, are gaining market share. You know, they've got Super Duty pickups that sell for up to $100,000 now.
Wow.
And they're selling a lot of them, making money, but they're losing money overseas. Now, what was the bad news there? Well, we're having trouble in Europe and Asia, but we can fix that. So that gets you back here. The big problem with Ford is they had nothing to say about the future. In fact, Hackett went out of his way on the call to say, we'll talk about that later, not ready to talk about it yet. Hard to get people excited if you're not willing to talk about something, and that's the difference with Tesla. I mean, even yesterday there he was talking about the pickup truck, the most exciting product they have coming up in the next couple of years, and it's going to be a couple of years away. Ford's the leader in trucks. It should be planting its flag and saying, this is what we're doing with trucks in the future. You've got a hybrid F-150 coming on, but that's the present, that's the past. Is there an electric one coming? I don't know. But if Tesla shows up with it, it may capture that flag before Ford gets a chance to.
Well, it's up 6% as we speak, but still only at $8 a share. Gary, thanks for joining us this morning. Good stuff. Let's see now. McDonald's. Oh, here's a story for you. McDonald's adds its first new breakfast sandwich in 5 years. Look at these things. It's called the triple breakfast.
I'll be right back.
The triple breakfast stacker. Eggs, double cheese, double sausage, and of course there's bacon on it. Scott, why are you laughing?
It's the artery clogger.
I was afraid you were going to come to me. That's why I was laughing. I was nervous. First of all, there's nothing new about this sandwich other than they're doubling the meat. Number two, there was a comment in the article I read about it saying that the customers wanted more meat. They wanted more food for breakfast because the sandwiches were too small. I thought the reason that McDonald's breakfast was falling off was because it wasn't healthy enough for you, and now they just double the unhealthiness and think that that's the answer. I don't get it.
Play to your strength.
I'd like to know the price.
Today, how do they do it?
I don't know what the price is. What's the price of it?
I don't know what
What would it be?
It's worth whatever you have to pay for it. That's the answer.
We're researching the cost of the triple decker.
You don't need to ask the price.
Budweiser's parent is AB InBev, and it's cut its dividend in half because beer sales continue to fall. What's this about changing taste? I guess it's real, isn't
Well, we
it?
know millennials are not drinking beer. They're more into the wine grill.
But look at it go down. Look at that, nearly
Yeah.
10% down because we're drinking less beer.
Well, millennials.
Well, walk into a liquor store and look at the choices that you have. All sorts of different products. A lot of them, the growth isn't in beer. I mean, any food you want to pair with any drink, you've got many, many more choices. Now, this market is just way more crowded than it used to be, and there's been really no interesting innovation coming out of America's biggest beer maker.
Well, John Taffer, bar rescue guy, told us people aren't drinking beer as much now. Millennials like wine, and hard liquor is making a comeback. And now marijuana, I guess.
Marijuana, that's the other one.
That's another issue.
That's Scott.
You're right. Luxury brand Coach follows Burberry, Versace, Gucci, Hugo Boss in pledging to go fur-free. Okay. I guess that goes down well with some people, but how about the rest of the people? Fur-free, is that good or bad?
Well, I'm an animal lover, so good.
I think millennials and Gen Z like it. To the extent that they're in the market for anything like that, they would probably like the fact that it doesn't have real fur.
Scott Martin, last one to you. Fur-free, good or bad?
Yeah, fur-free, let it fly. It's the trend. You got to get on board with it. And my wife, who still spends money at all those retailers and those outlets, doesn't seem to care if it's fur or not. So, you know.
There you go.
So, what kind of an answer is that?
You fill in the blank. I didn't want to go any further because she's watching.
Time's up. 9:40 Eastern Time. That means Brian and Scott, gentlemen, thanks very much for joining us.